2PP.
Yo, what's up YouTube? Before we start, make sure you drop a like on this video and share, subscribe if you're new. Also, make sure to follow the IG page. There's a lot of great content on that page and I'm always active, so if you have any questions, be sure to DM me. We got another great one for y'all, but before we start, let me explain this video real quick. Obviously, when I was making the video, I saw the play and I saw what routes all the receivers are running, but I'm explaining the splits and the spacing between the receivers so you guys have an idea what routes to expect in your pre-snap reads, right? We want to eliminate certain routes just based on our pre-snap reads, right? So that's why we read in the receiver splits, the spacing, why is he too wide, why is he too close, and all that stuff. And also, these tips will help you study for your opponent. So now, let's get right into it. Ball in the middle of the field, we got a 2x2 formation, 2 receivers up top, and a tight end receiver down bottom. Let's start at the bottom of the screen. Looking at the receiver, he's splitting the numbers and the hash, right? So just based on his alignment, I'm expecting an out route, either a quick out or a deep out. The reason why I'm expecting that is you gotta ask yourself, why is the receiver lined up so far inside, right? He's creating more space to the sideline so he can run the out route. Now let's work our way up. So now looking at the inside receiver up top, right? He's lined up slightly outside of the hash, right? Just based off of the alignment, I'm expecting immediate in, dig, or maybe a seam. I'm not necessarily expecting an out route because look at the number 1 receiver. He's so far inside, splitting the number is in the hash, so we know for a fact he's running some type of out route. And if number 2 is going to run an out route, it's going to be a deep out, so it's going to be most likely a corner, right? But just because they're both so close, I don't see them both running out, so I'm expecting one to go out and one to come in. Now if you look at the corner down bottom, you can tell he had his pre-snap reads right because he broke for the ball before the receiver even broke for the ball. So we got another 2x2 formation, 2 receivers up top, and a wing and a receiver down bottom. I want you guys to look at the receivers up top. Look how wide the spacing between number 1 and number 2 is. When you see this, especially to the field side, you have to start thinking sprint out action, right? Quarterback is going to sprint to the sideline and try to throw the ball towards the sideline, right? Especially when number 2 is close to the end man of the line, right? When he's at this spot of the field and he's lined up this way, you want to expect some type of out route, some type of deep out route especially, right? So I'm expecting maybe a corner, post corner type action. And when number 1 is close to the sideline, he's going to run a route that's close to the sideline so he doesn't get in the way of number 2 running his deep out. And just in case the quarterback needs to scramble, he's going to pick up some yards, right? He doesn't want to get in the way of both the deep out and just in case the quarterback sees a lane that he can take off. Now, when you see the running back lined up to the field, right, and he's a little wide from the quarterback, he lines up a little too wide from the quarterback. Now, all the percentages of being a sprint out is going higher, right? It's wide split between number 1 and number 2, and the running back is lined up to the field, sprint out action. Now look how wide the running back is from the quarterback. Now you're starting to think, why is he lining up wider than normal? The reason why is because he's trying to get closer to the edge to make sure nobody attacks from the outside. Also, the running back is lined up even with the quarterback, or maybe slightly in front of the quarterback, right? When you see this wide split and he's even or slightly in front, alert sprint out. So now we got a 3-by-1 formation. 2 receivers and a tight end down bottom, and we got 1 receiver up top. Look at the wide side of the field. Now, think about this. Why is number 1 at the bottom of the screen lined up so wide from the ball? He's not going to run a fade. He's not going to run an out route. Because look how long of a ball the quarterback has to throw from that hash to the sideline. If he's going to do that, he's going to line up a little bit closer inside for an out route. So now we're expecting him to run some type of in route, right? And number 2 has a normal split. So he could do an out, in, fade, seam, or even a corner. By just looking at this and see where number 1 is, I'm expecting him to go inside and maybe number 2 to come outside. The reason why is because they want to move the defender that's guarding number 2, right? They want to make him chase that out so they can throw that curl behind him. Now, if we look at the top of the screen, the receivers line up at the bottom of the numbers. So now we're just expecting something inside automatically. Because he's so close to the sideline, he's not going to run some type of out route. So he's probably going to run some type of in route to make it easier for the quarterback. Now look at the spacing between the running back and quarterback right now. Now they're a lot closer. So we're not expecting a sprint out. And the running back is lined up on the short side of the field, so he's definitely not a sprint out, right? If it was the opposite way, he would line up a little wider and he'll be in the field, then we can alert sprint out. We got an empty formation here. Let's check everyone's splits. Bottom of the screen, look where the receivers lined up at the bottom of the numbers. So now we automatically think he's going to run some type of in route, right? And we work our way up. Number 3 is lined up very close to the end man of the line. And number 2 is lined up inside the hash. They're lined up pretty close to each other, so we could expect a switch route between the 2. One going in and one going out. But let's take it a step further. Now look at how the spacing between number 1 and number 2. Why are they so far apart? And number 2 is lined up inside the hash. So now if you really think about it, number 2 is most likely going to run an out route, right? If they're going to do a switch route between number 2 and 3, they're going to line up a little wider to give more space for number 2 to run the in route, right? But since he's both lined up close to the end man of the line inside the hash, so we're going to expect maybe an out route for number 2. Now we can expect number 3 to run an in route, right? Instead of an out route. If number 3 runs an out route, that defender is going to be able to cover both of them if they both run the out route. So they're going to have one go in, one go out to put the defender in a tough situation and make it easier read for the quarterback. Before we go, I got a quick announcement to make. Team Eyeland officially has a website now. It's teameyeland.com, so make sure you guys go check it out. 2021 is going to be a crazy year. We have so much in stores. So make sure you follow the IG page for further announcements. And I want to thank each and every one of you guys. None of this would be possible without you guys. And continue to like, share, subscribe. Let everybody know that Team Eyeland is where it's at. Hope you guys enjoyed the video and have a wonderful holiday break. Make sure you guys stay safe and make smart decisions. You guys take it easy, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.